And now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go to Adobe Premiere. Now, the one thing I want to say is I know I've asked you to have it open and up, but I think it would be better if you just watch me and not try to kind of, you know, work alongside of me with your video clips, because I'm going to go through this and then I'm going to give you guys time to kind of play around with it. And that way I can be here if you guys have questions and things. Okay, so let's just watch for now and then take it from there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, this is the home page. So when you launch it, this is what you're going to see. First thing you do is create a new project. And then are you seeing a box or did it go away?
We're seeing like a white box in the corner.
Oh, okay. Basically, I'm not sure if you're seeing what I'm doing, but you'll get a box and you're going to give it a name. Give your and you might want to do video final or video whatever, so that you know that what it is. And then you're going to hit OK. All right. Are you seeing now? Oh boy. Are you seeing me again or are you seeing?
I think you stopped screen sharing.
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't think I did, but let me try it again. I'm gonna try not be. Okay, now are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, it's kind of like overwhelming when you get in here, but here are the 4 boxes. This is the box where your unedited video comes in. This is the video player for that box. This is your editing timeline. And then this is going to be the player for your edited video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import my files. So you go up to File, Import. And I have it here in this folder, practice video. So I'm just going to highlight all the different files. So that's my interview and my B-roll, and I'm going to hit import. And everything kind of takes longer, a little bit longer on this program. Okay, so now you guys see the video pop into that raw video box? Okay, so let me just show you what we have here. In order to view your unedited video clips, you need to double click on it. So I'm going to double click on this, and here it pops up, okay? And there's a little blue cursor bar right here that you can click and drag to look at your video kind of quickly. So this is a 5-shot sequence. So this is the close-up of the face. This is the interview, and you see Emily has framed herself nicely in the rule of thirds. For those of you who are doing interviews in person, remember what I talked about, kind of below the shoulders and positioned in 1/3 of the shot. This is her medium shot showing the action in the 5-shot sequence. This is her kind of unusual creative shot. This is her over the shoulder, even though because she's doing it herself, she couldn't actually kind of show her shoulder, which is what you usually want in those kind of shots. And then this is the close-up of the hands. Okay, so very simple. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the interview, right? We're going to lay down our sound first. So I'm going to first go and double click on the interview in this raw in the raw video player. Okay, so did you see how there's like a very small kind of pause before? I want to cut that out. So this is how you cut individual clips out of your longer video. You take this little blue thing. Are you guys seeing the blue thing that I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And basically you can do it with your space bar, or you can also use the player commands right here. Okay, so we're going to just do it right here. Okay, so I want to kind of cut that first little bit out. So basically what I want to do is kind of just mark the clip that I want to use. So right underneath here where the player is, you'll see a little kind of, you know, hyphen, like a bracket. And if you hover over it, you'll see this first bracket, it's a mark in. So what you do is you click that. So suddenly you have a marker that identifies where you want your clip to start. And then for this, we're going to do the whole clip, but we're just going to cut off the end, like make sure that the end is clean. So I'm going to bring my little cursor down here. So again, you can just pull it down. And there, we're just going to trim off the end. And the bracket next to that one is the mark out. And you click the mark out. And now you see you have a bracketed clip, okay? And now all you have to do is click on that file right in the player and drag it into your timeline and let go. And suddenly you're starting to edit. You can make these boxes a little bigger. Let's see. Oh, I'm just going to leave it like that. So just like I showed you, the video came in on the V1 track and the audio came in on the audio 1 track. And now I'm going to play it from the timeline and let's just listen to it.
I've never grown tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but for me, mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try the first time. And there's something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and picked yourself. It's pretty cool.
All right. So now we want to, now what are we going to do? We're going to start laying down our B-roll, right? So let's just get started. So this is my first close-up of the hand. Now this is 7 seconds, so we're not going to use all 7 seconds. I'm going to kind of maybe start right here, mark in, right? Go to here, mark out, okay? And now we click and drag it and bring it to the V2 track and let it go. So here what I've done is I've left a little bit of her face
kind of vegetable before
to start
year,
with.
but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try.
So she keeps talking and the B-roll comes. Now I feel like I let her talk too much, or we see her too much. So I'm just going to click and drag it over just a little bit in that editing. Now we just go and do the rest. So let's do things. Again, we're not going to use the whole thing. We're going to use a bit of it. Mark in, move the cursor, mark out. And hold and drag. And then you just line it up right next to that, the next, that last piece. So that it comes right up against it, okay? You don't want any black space in between. And then I'm just gonna do that with the rest of the video. Do it up, find the clip that I want, hit mark it in, mark it out, click, drag it down. I've got 2 more clips I'm gonna use, right? Click, drag, place. And then there's one more shot. Out, click, drag. And I'm putting all my B-roll in the same track, okay? So
Or this year was mostly stuck in a little bit of pandemic. It seemed like a good time to try this time. And there's something really satisfying about it, you know, seeing something that you pictures.
all right, so, you know, we're getting there, right? We're not totally cleaned up and ready to go yet. One of the things that I want to show you is if you go to this little roller ball at the bottom of your timeline, you can make bigger or make smaller what you're looking at. And I feel like it was a little small and I want to see a little bit more what I'm doing. Okay?
I've never grown tomatoes before.
Now, if you see here, I've got some extra B-roll hanging off the bottom, right? And what do you do if you want to kind of adjust the B-roll? You can do that in the editing timeline. So if you see, if I put my cursor over these video clips, a little red line and arrow will pop up, okay? So when that happens, you click and then you can drag and make it shorter and then move this over. And then maybe I'm going to shorten this one a little bit. I'm going to move that over, this over, I'm going to move this over. So now I have kind of organized my B-roll in a way, and now I have to deal with the audio issue, right? It becomes especially bad on these clips down here,
Something really satisfying about it.
where as you can hear that the audio from the B-roll is really overpowering what she's saying. So again, you know, you'll probably have to watch this video again to remember this, but what you want to do is open up that audio track that you want to do this, adjust the sound levels. And so this audio is on the audio 2 track, right? So you're going to move your cursor, and if you move it over, you'll see a double line and a double arrow will pop up when you go to the edge of it. When you see that, you want to click and you're just going to drag it open. And basically what that does is opens up the track. And when you open up the track, then you see that sound level line that comes here. And all you have to do is click into each little clip, grab onto that and pull it down. So we're going to pull this down. We're going to pull this down. We're going to pull this down. And then these last 2 clips where it gets a lot louder, I'm going to actually bring it even further down. Okay. And so now I'm going to go to my player and let's listen to it from the beginning again.
I've never grown tomatoes before. I've never grown first time, and there's something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and made yourself.
So I actually feel like I want to bump her audio up a little bit. So I'm going to go to the audio 1 track. I'm going to put my cursor right on the edge on the bottom, and I'm going to open that up. And you'll see that opens it up. And I'm just going to bring her up, the whole thing up. Oop. I'm just going to bring the whole thing up just a tad.
Track first time, and there's
Because the one thing I want to say about audio is that you never want the audio from your B-roll to impede the understanding of your narration or your interviews. It always kind of needs to kind of come under and be kind of unobtrusive. And in some cases, like I said, it makes sense just to bring the level all the way down so you don't even hear it. But in this case, it's kind of nice to have a bit of that kind of outdoor natural sound. Kind of adds a little bit to the video. Now, the last thing that we have to do is add our title. Okay, so we want to identify Emily. Now, this is a little different. If you look up here on the top, you will see there's like a number of kind of different categories up here. And we're right now in the editing category. What we want to do is we want to click out of editing and go into captions. And what you'll see is this whole toolbar comes up. The type tool, you know, the selection tool, and we're going to just write right on the video. So I'm going to go to the type tool and I'm going to click on the video and I'm going to write her name. And I'm going to identify her, you know, something simple in the context of the story. So for the story, she is an urban gardener, okay? Emily Johnson, urban gardener. Now, you see we need to do some work on this. The first thing is that the name should always be bigger than what identifies the person. So I'm going to just go right in here and highlight urban gardener. And then here over to the right, you'll see, you know, lots of other tools. And under the font, we can kind of bring that down. Oop, whoop. Oh, that's not working. Kind of bring it down by doing that scale. Okay, there we go. Did you see how I did that over here where it says text and then the type of font regular, and now I brought it down to 61 from 100. So now her name is bigger, her title is a bit smaller, but we still can't read it, right? Because of the background. So we're going to go in again and we're going to highlight the whole thing and going back into this editing, this thing on the right under appearance, we're going to add a shadow behind the text. So I'm going to hit click and I'm going to bring that up a bit. So now there's a bit of a shadow, so you can see it a little better, but we want to position it. So to position it, you go to the selection up here on the top, and then you just grab it and you move it down. So we want to have it back here where there's a little darker. And now you can read, okay? So that's good. And so we're done with our captions. So we're going to go back to our editing mode up here. And now we are ready to export. And what will happen, the graphic will show up like a piece of video. I'm just going to bring it over so it pops up right when the,
grown tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try the first time. And there's something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and made yourself. It's great.
all right. Now, before we export it, I just want to show you a couple of things. Say, for instance, you want, you've edited this and then you're like, you know what, I really want to switch these two pieces of B-roll. I don't like the way they're set. So how do you do that? I think that the easiest way is you click on the one that you want to move and just click and drag it to the end of the video, just set it outside. Then move other piece over and then move this back in. Okay,
Mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try the first time. And there's something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and made yourself. It's great.
so when you're doing your videos, this is what I would suggest that you do. Like you're gonna have like, you know, maybe you'll have a series of 4 or 5 quotes. You're gonna lay them down. Do exactly what I'm showing you here for each of those quotes, okay? Like, think of it as kind of maybe one kind of scene and a series of B-roll shots over each quote. And just keep it super simple and basic, okay? Karina, I'm gonna get to you in 1 second, all right? Well, actually, why don't you go ahead? Because the last thing I want to show you is how to export.
I don't like when you say multiple quotes, do you want them to be from multiple people? I don't remember what
Oh,
you
no.
specified.
No, I mean, if you have one interview for this video, it's okay. Because some of you are doing profiles of people and that's fine.
Mhm.
But I guess the multiple quotes is like taking, you know, like a 15-second quote from the middle and then a 10-second quote from the beginning. And like, you know, when you're picking your individual quotes out of the interview.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Right, because that has to be edited, right? You can't just put the whole interview down.
Okay, thank you.
And so the last thing I'm going to do is show you how to export. So when you're ready, and then you want to make sure that you haven't left any extra pieces of video down here at the end. And it's you're only exporting your your final edit. You're going to go to File, Export Media. Are you seeing this box or not?
Yes.
Okay, so under format, you'll probably have to change it. There's like all these different formats. So you want to have it on H.264. And then here on the output name, it will automatically pick the name of the first video file that it uses in the piece. So you're definitely going to want to give it a different name. So you just click on that. And I'm going to do test for final. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. Make sure you remember where it's, make a note of where it's going. You hit save, and then you have to hit export. Okay. And that will encode it. And it shouldn't take too long. And now we will, I'm going to get out of this. And I'm going to show you what that video looks like. Okay. Give me 1 second to find it on my desktop. And one sec. it up. Give me 1 sec.
I've never grown tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, this seemed like a good time to try for the first time. And there's something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and picked yourself. It's pretty cool.
All right. Are you guys, were you able to follow that? All right. It's pretty cool when you see it all put together and big, right? Okay, so I'm actually going to do it one more time, and I'm going to edit it slightly differently. And I'm going to kind of, Karina, this is going to answer your question about what I'm talking about with the different quotes, okay? So I'm going to go back into my Premiere. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to kind of get rid of some stuff here. I want to start over. Okay. Let me share my screen again. All right, so I got rid of that last edit, okay? So what you guys are going to be doing is you're going to have like obviously like a longer interview than this kind of 20-second clip, right? And what you're going to be wanting to do is kind of go into that interview and kind of edit out the quotes that you in the order, kind of in the order that you want them to play in your video. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to cut this this video slightly differently, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, remember, you know, the in and out marks up here on the edited, on the raw video, I'm going to open them up so there's no in and out marks, okay? And we're going to start we're going to have her start at a different point. We're going to pick up, there's something. That was the right spot. Okay, so I lined it up. I'm going to do my in marker. And then I'm going to
Something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and picked yourself.
I'm going to stop it there. Okay, I'm going to outmark it. And now I'm going to bring this little clip in first to my V1. Oops, you just have to drag it in to the right spot into my V1, A1 spots, right?
Something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you grew and picked yourself.
Okay, now I want to go back into the raw video of the interview. I'm going to kind of drag those markers open again so that there's no in and out marks, and you just have to kind of click and drag them open. So now we have the full clip again. And I'm going to pick the first part of the interview next. There's my in mark.
Tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, this seemed like a good time to try.
Good time to try. That's where I'm going to bring it out. And then I'm going to bring that clip and put it right next to, drag it so it butts up against it. And now I'm going to open up my markers again, clear those out. I'm just going to grab that last little bit that we haven't used yet. It's pretty cool, right? Mark it in, and then we'll just leave the out cue where it is because it's the end of the clip. And then I'm going to drag that down. So now what I've done is I've taken that one interview and cut it up and moved it around to where I want it to be. So let's do that again.
Something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you are able to taste yourself. I've never grown tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try. It's great.
Right? So again, so here you see the same interview, but now kind of cut up and reorganized. And we'll just kind of quickly put some B-roll over it. And they're already cut from last time. I'm going to leave a little space. I'm going to just do it a little bit differently. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to kind of adjust these a little bit. Not edge too much with our B-roll. I'm going to go in and adjust the audio for my B-roll. Bring that down. This one I'm going to bring down more because it's and then I'm going to go to graphics. And you want to be over the video, your cursor over the video where you're adding it. Hit text. And I'll just do Emily Johnson. Short. It's got shadow. It's remembering some of the shadows and things that I did in the same before. Yeah. So now this is the same video, but edited slightly differently. Okay.
Something really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you are able to taste yourself. I've never grown tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try. It's great.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to fix. The first thing is that you never really want the graphic to go over your B-roll. You really only want that to show on the person. So I'm gonna, did you see how I did that? I clicked in, got the red marker at the end, and then I just shortened it so that now goes away once we go to the B-roll. This one, my audio for that final clip went to a different track. Bring that down. So now I think I'm gonna
Something
like
really satisfying about it, you know, eating something that you are able to taste yourself. I've never grown tomatoes before. I've never grown any kind of vegetable before this year, but being mostly stuck at home in a pandemic, it seemed like a good time to try. It's great.
All right, I'm gonna end the video for now. 'Cause that was the